well in the beginning. We felt like we was meant to be. I fell for you and skinned my knee, but hell with any injury. Eventually you'll get up gingerly. Feels like it'll take a century to heal.
Alright, so right now, it's one hole, since there's a bottom. But if you say this doesn't have a circle, like say this is open right here, some may say there's two, some might want to say just one continuous hole. Personally, at first, I thought it was two, because the way I was thinking I was...
Okay, we're talking about a straw though. This is just like a...
So, I mean, at first my thought was a straw has two holes. But doing some research, I noticed it's just one continuous hole.
Right.
But, for example,
that's if there was another hole.
Yeah,
through
that's
the
if
bottom.
there's another hole.
Like a
It's-
straw.
Yeah, like a straw. So just one continuous long hole.
So this is what I gotta say. What do you call it if there's just that with no exit way?
A hole, because I mean, for example, if there's like if you dig you just say
Ditch
dig,
or a hole?
yeah, in the middle,
you
like,
dig a hole.
You dig a hole because no matter what, there's gonna be a bottom
Right.
to that hole.
Right.
And it's just like this. There's a hole that has a bottom.
So then that's why people say that a straw, since it has an exit way,
It might be considered as two.
and yeah, so that's what we don't know. If there's one entryway, one bottom, then it's, all right, what do you think?
I think there's one hole in the straw
Okay, why?
because it's one continuous hole,
Okay,
and that's about it. Like it's just one hole. Period. Like,
I mean,
it's pretty self-explanatory.
Straight to the point.
I mean, he's straight to the
Straight to the
point.
point.
I mean, there's nothing else you can really say. But
I
then-
mean, for example, this
If you
has
look- if you
one
look-
hole,
If you,
but
if you
that
look down
doesn't-
the straw,
right,
you can see out the other end.
it's one hole.
It's one
right, right. So people say though, if there, this is where people get mixed up. Just because there's entry and outryways, not outry, is that even a word? Entry and exit ways. Does that mean that there's two
No, there's not.
holes? Yeah.
No.
It's really your perspective, because
For
if
example,
you think
tunnel.
an entryway and an outry, or whatever, an entryway and an exit, you think those are holes, and you're gonna say there's two holes. But what if they're not? What if they're just circles on each side?
For example, a tunnel,
Right.
a mountain. There's two entryways and exits, but
But
no
it's
matter what,
one tunnel.
One tunnel.
Yeah.
They lead
It's
into the
just like
same
a
thing.
tunnel.
It's
Right.
the same thing. They pass through each other.
Right.
So that's one hole.
It's like cut out, and the other one's cut out, and you slide them together. You have a tunnel, okay?
Okay.
Now, if it collapses in the middle, say it's been collapsed in and this is collapsed in, then you have two holes because they both have a stopping point. Going back to what you talked about the cup,
See? But how is
about
there?
the cup.
Okay.
I'm
What?
saying, okay, see, there's one entrance, and it's say there's a tunnel like this. Okay, there's right here's the entrance, but it blocks up in the middle. It's considered a hole. But a hole needs
Make
an
it two
entry,
holes. Make it two holes.
but needs an entry. So is it really a second
But then,
hole?
yeah,
It
but
ends.
that's
There's
that's
no-
the key. If a tunnel would collapse in the middle of it,
Mhm.
then there's two entryways, but at the same time
But it
it
would be
ends,
one- no, it's
it
one
ends in the
entryway.
middle. So then that means that there's two holes.
Well,
But the fact
there'd
that a
be no
straw,
way through it.
Yeah.
so the fact that a straw doesn't have an ending point in the middle would make it so then it's one continuous.
Exactly. It's exactly.
Explain what you think.
I got a new pop socket.
1 or 2 or 0.
There's a wolf.
Two.
Why?
Because if you look at a straw,
You're taking a video.
yeah. If you look at the top, there's a hole. If you look at the bottom, there's a hole.
But it's not a hole, it's one continuous hole.
No.
Here,
There's a hole on
You
top.
go in
Let
one
me-
hole
hey.
or the other.
Excuse me, let me prove why it's one hole. If you get shot with one bullet, it might have an entry and an exit, but it's still one hole. They don't say, oh, you have a bullet holes because you got shot once and there's an entry and outryway. It's a bullet hole because it doesn't even have to go through. But if it does, it's still one hole. It's not, you don't say, dude, you got shot once. So now you have bullet holes. They say
Okay.
you have a bullet hole.
You have a hole in the front and a hole in the back.
Are we done?
No, you don't.
Are we
You
You
done?
don't look at the body, and you're gonna say there's a hole, and you gotta turn the body around and say there's another hole.
No, the only way it would be two holes is if a physical change happened in the middle of it or blocked it off. Let's say you're in a tunnel, it collapses in the middle, okay? then there's 2 holes because it stops. There's an ending point. You go on one side, there's an ending point. You go on the other side, there's an ending point. Then there's 2.
A hole doesn't have to have an exit.
Huh?
That's what we're saying.
That's what we're
even if
saying.
We're talking about straw.
You do straw.
Then there's 2 holes.
One
You
hole,
drill,
2 entrances.
you drill completely through a concrete wall.
Right.
There's, you drill completely through. It's one continuous hole.
Exactly.
So there is one.
See, some holes don't have it.
Does a straw have 1 or 2 holes? Well, think about it. Look at this cup. It's got 1 hole. Now, if I drilled a hole in the side, anyone would say, dude, that cup's got 2 holes. Now, if I drilled a hole in the bottom, then that just kind of turns into a cylinder. So it's just straight through. Is that just 1 big hole, or is it 2 holes? I don't know, man.
All right, 1, 2, 0.
Alright, so a straw, the reason why it has 0 holes is because whenever you take a piece of paper, whenever they make a straw, they take it and they wrap it. A straw is not solid, they do not hollow it out, and it's basically wrapped around and made into a tunnel, so there's 0 holes.
Right.
And to make a tunnel, you do need 2 holes.
Right.
Or 1 continuous hole, but how do I explain that? I can't.
It's made out of made out of the same material, so how could it be a hole? But then at the same time, it has to be a hole because it's shaped like a hole.
Because there's nothing else around it?
It's air inside of it.
Explain the shape of a hole. A hole could be many shapes.
But when does a hole become a tunnel?
When does a hole become a hole?
Listen, this is 1 hole. This is 1 hole with 2 entrances because it's all connected. If it was side by side, it'd be 2 holes. As soon as I bend it like this, they're not connected. That's 2 different holes.
Yeah, that's 2 different holes right there.
That's 2 different holes. This is 0 holes.
Because it's blocked. Because it's blocked off. That's like what I was talking about. If
Yeah.
the middle was to block off in a straw, then
It's 2 holes because
it's 2 holes.
It's
right.
not 1 continuous hole.
That's the only way it would be 2 holes.
It just depends how you look at it. There's 2 different ways to look at it.
Right.
If you look at it in 2-dimensional form, it's 1 hole.
Yeah.
1 continuous hole. But if you look at it in 3-dimensional from both sides, it's 2 different holes because there's 2 different ways in. Or you can consider it 0 holes because it's just a tunnel because they never put a hole in it. They just created a tunnel.
Right.
AKA a straw.
You a big fine woman, you my baby. Come and let me hold you like a baby.